Okay, 13:00. We have 100 people in this meeting. We are full. So lucky for you, you are all in. And probably some others will be like, hey, what's happening? I can't get in. But we're going to have fun. A very, very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of the whole teachers team of leadership. A few of us are actually in this meeting. So before I'm going to go over all sorts of information, most important rule is everyone's muted the whole time. And if you want to say something, you can use the chat on your right. And Marlou, our singing teacher and one of the core team members of vocal leadership, will be answering and moderating, and she will actually notify me or the speaker if something important has been said that needs sharing or an important question or whatever. Maybe Marlou, you can say hi so that people can see you.
Of course. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for moderating the chat, Marlou. Marlou will also share some of her exercises later in this hour with all of you. Next to that, we have another couple of people from the vocal leadership team here present, among others, Glenn, our move and groove teacher. Can you say hi, Glenn?
Hi, everyone. Here I am.
Your video is off now, Glenn. We only see the picture. Yes, so
There I am.
Now you're alive again. Great. We also have one of our guest teachers in the house. This is Peter Carlson. Can you say something, Peter?
Now I say something. Hello, Netherlands.
Hello.
Yeah, I guess mostly Netherlands, but I can see many people also from abroad being present. And since vocal leadership has kind of an international approach, we decided to do this whole thing in English so that everyone can understand. If there's anything that needs translation, please use the chat. Marlou is fluent in English and she'll probably help you out. If there's a question, we will all try to answer this together. There's one more person in the meeting that will also share some ideas with you, and he is kind of our technical expert in this room, and that's Sander Gieling, one of our alumni vocal leadership as well.
Hi everyone.
So if you have any important technical questions, Sander is the guy that will give you an answer to that. I hope that with this whole team, we will be able to give you an overview. And again, if you have anything specific, important to share, use the chat, and we will make sure that you get through. Okay, so why do we do this session from vocal leadership? I just want to share a few thoughts about that. I think I personally was a little bit lost last week when we heard that this situation might last a little bit longer than we all hoped and expected, because I can imagine that, like me, some of you feel a little bit lost because we miss our job, we miss our singers, we want to make music, and we just want to reach out. We got a lot of questions from choir leaders and teachers. We have a lot of students that come in with questions about what do we do now? How do I fix this? Do you have any ideas? What can I do when we meet online? I guess all of us, we are trying to reinvent what we do when we sing and when we meet choirs. And why not share in this difficult time? Because the majority of us probably are self-employed musicians who are struggling. Let's stick together, share some ideas, and feels a little bit of connection. So that's why, from a vocal leadership perspective, we decided to have this session. Since we are the choir leading education in the Netherlands that has already had some online classes, we also felt like it was our job in the Netherlands to kind of unite and give people a platform to share and experience together. As you probably know, we have been working together with the Royal Academy of Music in Aalborg, where Jim Dalziano has been inventing a lot of online teaching materials and methods. So he is our big inspiration, and we have worked with him over the last few years. And we will also share some of his ideas and videos in this session, because we are kind of teaching a similar program, it makes sense that we reach out to you and give you some ideas. So let me check. I've written down so many things. We'll have only 1 hour. Let's see how much we can cover. So since we have a lot of participants who cannot join this session, we might consider sharing this video on our vocal leadership channel. If you are not okay with that, please take off your video because of like privacy reasons. If you have a problem with that, please take your video off. You are already muted so that you can only like experience this, so that we can feel free to share this with whoever didn't get a chance to get in. I hope that's okay. If you want to communicate, let's give a thumbs up. Can we all do that? Yeah, or a thumbs down if something goes wrong or if I'm not clear or whatever. And you can also use the little thing in the bottom of your screen that says reactions. And there you can also give a thumbs up or an applause if you want from time to time, if you want to express yourself a little bit more next to the chat and just being visual. So why do we do online rehearsals? I want to just share a few lines about that. I think it's important that I speak from myself and a little bit from the vocal leadership team. We talked about this, but mostly from myself. I think it's very important that we maintain the possibility to connect people. I think there's a lot of people in this situation that are in their house, perhaps like alone or with their family, that feel a little bit lost, a little bit alone. To sing together in a choir or in a group is a social activity, and usually we do it in daily life and we connect. But I think right now it's more important than ever. Most of us cannot go anywhere where we meet other people. And if we have online sessions, it's only work related. So there's not so much going on in social life in groups nowadays. I guess we are kind of one of the few types of branches, I don't know how to explain in English, that are actually capable of bringing people together like this. And I think we should not underestimate, for example, the woman who lives alone and just has one choir rehearsal a week where she can see like a lot of faces on the screen and share how she feels, that kind of people. It's very important that we keep connecting over these times. So when I teach vocal leadership, I always mention that for me to have the social goal being number one is key to how I work, and then music is the result. If the singers feel good, then they start to sing better, they start to open up, to feel connected. And I think that shows in this period even more. So it's more important than ever that we do that. And I think the musical goal is a little bit lower now. We should lower our standards a little bit. There's many things we can do. There's also many things we cannot do. But the most important thing is that we keep connecting people and that we somehow make them sing. To sing together, we can do like little things, little tips and tricks I will share in the rest of this session. But it is important that we create a platform for them to express themselves, have a little bit of fun, and sing. I also want to mention that some of us might feel like, okay, when we meet online, this is like taking our rehearsal online. Well, I guess it's not. It's not the same thing, and we should not expect ourselves to be equally efficient, to kind of like reach the same amount of musical outcome when we rehearse online. So the goal of meeting online is actually a little bit different, and we should be aware to lower our musical standards a little bit. It's kind of weird that I'm talking to so many people and all of you are muted, so I don't hear anything. I don't hear any response. Sorry, we're all human. So I'm kind of like moderating this session, but I also don't know how to deal in this situation. I will just share some ideas, some things that I have been trying out in the last few days. And I think it's important that all of us choir leaders, that we realize we will probably have a flow like this. We try out stuff, we have ideas, we fail, we feel bad, we get bad news from the government, we feel like a dip, then we feel like, okay, this is the new situation, let's make it work. We feel an up. allow yourself to do that. Give yourself a little bit of love so that in the end, we try to make the best of this situation. It's not possible to peak and no one knows how to do this 100%. All we can do is just share some ideas. And if you have a good situation with your choir, they will respect you for sharing your insecurities when you speak about that. Thank you. So next topic on the agenda, I'm just checking, Marlou, is there anything in the chat that should be mentioned already?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you. Next thing on my list here is, why do we use Zoom, or what other options do we have? Well, to be quite frank, I've used a couple of other options just for meeting, not for singing, but I'm totally relying on the experience of Jim Dalziernu here, who says that Zoom is the only online conference program where we can use the original sound function. And I will speak a tiny little bit about original sound later, because you can actually watch his instruction video that is also shared in the event. The original sound thing makes it possible for us to sing together. And I guess in any other online conference program, any background noise, piano playing, singing long notes, will be pushed out. So it will be less suitable for singing and for making music together. I just also need to tell you that some of you are still like hoping and searching for ways to sing in sync at the same time. I guess on the short term, if we can believe the experts, it's not going to happen. There is this system called LOLA, low latency, that is very expensive system for universities and institutes, where we can actually play in sync without any latency at the same time. And there claims to be this program called Jam Kazam that some of you have been trying out perhaps a little bit already. We don't know yet. As far as we know now, with like private internet connections, different people in one session, it's just not possible, because there's different speed, different internet speed, different equipment to sing at the same time, like in sync. This is only possible when we use for example, the LOLA system, that is way too expensive to have, like for individuals, particularly. So I'm sorry to share that bad news with you, but there is a lot of stuff that we can do, and that's what we want to focus on today. And we are going to use this format, Zoom, because we can enable original sound. I lost my point. We're going to use Zoom for that. Yeah, Pieter, you have been present at Rama. Do you want to add something to what I just said?
I just would like to say that I think your intro was fantastic.
Thank you.
Nothing to add.
Okay, great. And whenever we do, from the core team members, please feel free to interrupt me, and Marlou also, especially from the chat point of view.
I would like to say something,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of questions about original sound. As far as I know, the button for original sound is on the left upper corner, but you have to enable this in your settings online. So you have to log in on the website to do that. You can also go to Zoom, up in the corner, go to preferences, and then to advanced features to go to that website directly. And there's also a video by Jim on how to use Zoom in music mode. We already shared it, I think, on our vocal leadership page, Mail, but please correct me if I'm wrong, so you can find it there.
Okay, thank you, Marlou. And it's also in the event, the video. So in like 2 sentences, if we have an online conference program, everything is based on like the situation where we speak. But what we're doing is we're making music. So conference programs usually consider piano sound, music sound, singing, beatboxing, for example, as noise. So they filter out everything. And if we do that music, we actually don't, it doesn't make sense. It sounds a little bit like that. Jim explains it like that. So if we enable original sound, then we can actually, because it's all the original sound in the room being transported to the others that are in the same session. So that's just the theory behind this. And if you have enabled it in your right corner, you can click a button that says turn on original sound. If you click on it in my screen, it becomes colored, so it's blue, and then it says turn off. So if I click it again, then it's off. So it's kind of like the action that you take. You can see it in the screen. So when turn off original sound is in your screen, it means that your original sound is on. Okay? So what we usually do is when we speak, we turn off original sound because then we want this noise and background noise to be muted because otherwise there's a lot of input here. And when we sing and make music, we turn on original sound. So, okay, then one more thing before we go into a little bit more technical with Sander. When we meet online, it is a little bit more intense. And it tends to be a little bit more intellectual because, you know, all our input is coming through the ears. So we should not forget about the rest of our bodies to sing. And there's a lot of things going on, like sound-wise when we start to sing together, but also for the eyes. A lot of, in Dutch we say prikkels, a lot of input. Therefore, I think online sessions are a little bit more intense than when we meet offline. And we decided with my group and also with the students, the teachers team at Vocal Leadership, that you should shorten your sessions a little bit. Less is more. Only do what makes sense and give them breaks regularly. If you have a rehearsal, let's say 2.5 hours, and you make one break of 20 minutes, it will be different online. It will actually be worth more to take like 2 breaks of 5 minutes and have a total meeting of maybe 1 hour and 45 or 90 minutes. Because we are all in our own house, so we don't have a line to go to the toilet or to go and take coffee. And it's not like we can chat to other people apart from the people that we have been in our house with all week, right? So breaks are a little bit more practical. They can be short, but we need them more often. I think that's important to realize. Okay, so now is the time where I invite Sander to say something about technique, like microphones and functions.
Well, let's first check if I'm connected, if you can hear me, Merel. Merel, can you hear me?
I muted myself, so I just gave you a thumbs up.
Oh, you've just fallen off my screen, and I cannot have all 100 in one screen. Okay, thank you. Well, to start with, if I look at all the participants that are there, it's impossible to say something that's new to you all. I see some people who can tell way more than I can do in just these 5 minutes, and for those of you who really know nothing, it may even be too much that I say already. So what I will do in these minutes is just give you an overview of what's possible in a couple of quick steps.
Thunder, can
Yes?
you put up your volume a little bit, just a little bit more gain, please, if you have.
It should be better now then.
Yeah, to me, this is better.
Thank you for your feedback. It's actually what you're showing here is this is one of the things that you usually have to check with your group. Can you hear me right? Is the volume okay? Because I do not have that feedback without someone like you saying, please, Sander, can you adjust your sound? So thank you for that. Well, start with a couple of things. If you see me on screen, you may see me using a microphone. You're not obliged to do that, of course. You just heard Merel speak through, I guess, Merel, this was your PC microphone, your built-in microphone, so to say.
Actually, more old school than that. I'm just using a conference webcam with built-in microphone.
Wonderful. And of course, this can work, but when you're the host, giving sound to your choir, providing sound and vision to your choir, because that's what you have in here, you should think of the sound quality. As Miro already explained, tools like Zoom and many others are originally manufactured to do speech, and we want to have music. So one of the features was already discussed. This was the original sound. And the next thing is very simple. I shall put it close. A network connection. This may not only be suitable for speed as well as stability, because also your local wireless network that you use at home to communicate with your singers is, well, not exactly flawless, to say the least. So I really recommend, if you do a meeting like that, to keep the internet connection stable, use a cable connection to your local router, for one. The next, of course, you can use a microphone. I've seen Malou currently in a room that has a microphone as well. You can do it without, of course. That's, well, what's affordable? What can you do? If you use a microphone, does it become very technical then? Well, not necessarily. What helps here, of course, is if you have something like an audio interface, which is usually a box like this, where you can plug in a microphone connector. And usually you have, I cannot show that of course because it's in my PC, usually you have a connection, a USB connection or another type of connection to connect this audio interface to your computer. You can use a separate audio interface like I put there. Those of you having, for instance, a loop station, I know many of you do, not all, a loop station like the Boss RC505, which is just an example, it's not the only one having that. That kind of equipment also has a built-in audio thing. So actually, currently I'm talking to you through a loop station. I will demonstrate that very briefly. I hope this is hearable. Miro, can you do a thumb? Yeah, you can hear that. This is just one of the functions in my loop station. Now, I'm not here to, of course, demonstrate the loop station, but it's to show you that you don't need an audio device specifically if you have a loop station. The other one, of course, is, except for my voice, you might want to use a keyboard. And most of us have a piano at home, and what you can do is use a piano through your microphone at your PC, or use a microphone that you put up close to your piano to have that sound. But still, this may be quite in the background for you. That sound is quite different from this sound, which is, of course, a directly connected keyboard. That's I'm sorry. Directly connecting a keyboard, of course, requires having a keyboard, but usually a lot of us have one, and you can think of that, of course. Okay, that briefly about the sounds you can use. One that is also very much overseen, maybe, is you can actually use any sound your computer can produce from any application. Let me show you something here. I will share my window with you for now. Oops. Like this. Oops.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me. For instance, in the background you see Sibelius or Franelli. You can also put audio files in your media player.
Sander?
Yes?
You have a very weird sound, like a double thing in your feature right now. So I hear you double.
Yeah.
This probably had to do... Okay, I'm back again now. Yeah, you can hear me right now? Better now, isn't it? This is just to show you can use any application that produces sound on your computer. Probably the reason why it went wrong now is because, the input sound was processed by those applications. But you can think of any of those things. One other thing you can do, of course, as well is something like this. I will show it to you first and then explain it later. Yeah, let's do this.
What you can, oops, where is it?
We still have the same problem, Sander.
Okay. I cannot avoid the echo. I'm sorry, Malou. You can probably see the portion of my screen.
Peter can share something. He has a tip for you. So, Peter, can you speak up, please? And
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know exactly what's happening for Sander, and sometimes, you know, stuff happen. Sometimes it can be a buffer setting. Jesper Holm has connected his keyboard to a mixer and the microphone to a mixer, and then that is connected to the sound card before it goes to the computer.
Yep.
But there is something about this thing when you're playing a software sound and something coming in from out, and I can't help you there, Sander.
No.
Okay, but thank you, Sander, and thank you, Peter, because there's a lot more that we want to share this session. Thank you, Sander, for all the information.
I have one technical question from the chat, if I could please do that. I will post it again. I was trying some setting yesterday. My internal microphone was fine, but my mic over audio interface gave some cracks. Is there something I can do in the settings, or is it something else that I need to adapt? Could Sander answer this question, maybe?
Can you hear me okay, or is this wrong now? I've turned down my gain a little bit because some of you answered that. The double, Ruben, as you say, the double input may be one of the problems you have as well, because the input is routed, of course, to software you have active and is processed there. So if you have more applications active, you may have a double there as well. This is one of the things I had. Whereas it comes to cracks, these may be very different reasons. The buffering may be involved there. And well, as Peter also said, I used, say, a direct input now through a looper. You can, if you are able to do so, also attach a mixing table in between and have all your input sources go through that mixing table. But I know that not every choir leader has one, so I thought let's start with a simple setup. For now, we should go to the next subject, I think, Mabel.
Okay, thank you, Sander. I just want to point out that I'm one of the people out there who gets really nervous when we start to talk about technique. And probably there's way more like me out there. So if you want, I can also share the thing that I'm using. So I'm not having any interfaces because I don't know where to start and I don't want to get into it anyways. So I just use this webcam with a built-in microphone and a built-in video. It's €100. I think so far it has worked quite well for me. And I use my acoustic piano here. And it might not be perfect, but I don't use my piano all the rehearsal long. And so for me, it's enough. So I guess, you know, if you want to have the best sound possible, go with all the tips, because I know that I can improve my sound. But for me, it's just something that for now, it gives me a lot of stress, and I want to focus on what can I do with my singers and not on how can I improve the sound. If it's well enough for me, it works. I just want to add, and I don't want to like diminish anything that Sander said, of course, because it's important that we are heard and seen properly when we teach. I just want to share. Okay, so a few ideas that we actually can do. I want all of you who are on a wired internet connection and have enabled original sound to unmute. All of the other people who are on wireless internet and don't have original sound, stay muted. I trust you. Now you can sing with me. This hand is for sopranos and tenors. This hand is for basses and altos. Your favorite hand. Do, re, mi, fa, Exactly. So when we sing long notes and we just wait for each other a little bit, we can actually sing together. So now you can mute again for a second. So we all have different technique, a different connection, so we will never hear everyone sing equally loud. We just have to live with that. Sometimes this person pops up a little bit, this microphone input is a little bit louder, so we hear this person a little bit more. But I hope that you could actually hear different things going on, and sometimes like some people jumping in and jumping out. So you are actually singing together. It is possible. One more thing that we could do, for example, is a game that Pierre Carlson invented, and it's called pitch darts. It's actually the best that now you are like completely on your own to improve your musical skills. So let's imagine, I hope that I will explain properly, Pierre, because it's your game, that we have a dart board. I need you to physically throw a dart to the camera. Bullseye, yeah. So, and then we start to sing a certain pitch that I play on the piano on pa. For example, pa. Now you are not allowed to scoop from below or from above, but you should hit bullseye. And now little melody. Yeah, please mute if you're not muted yet. So now give me a number. How did you do? 5 is like, oh my God, I'm like a machine. 1 is like, I should practice this a little bit. Give me a number in the camera. Okay, so I can see some room for improvement. And by the way, this is actually a quite nice tool to communicate with a large group of people that are muted. Some short tips. You can also do this with melodies, of course. Internal hearing, internal preparation. Just be creative with this kind of exercise and go for it, because now everyone's like completely isolated on their own, and this is where you can train their individual musical skills like this in a very good way. Another thing that we can do, Sander talked a little bit about sharing screen, right? So if we can go to like, my English just got lost. If we go to the bottom of your screen, you can see share screen when you are on laptop or computer. And then you can enable the function share computer sound, right? If we enable that, I will share with you a little bit of disco. So why don't we just stand up and dance?
Oh, what a joy!
Come on.
Just come on down to 54. Find a spot out on the floor. Let's see, say she.
And now make a crazy move.
Let's see, say she.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So why not, you know? Because all we do is like watch screens and be in our heads, and we can just share some music and dance. Feel a little bit more physical. Something like this. Just be creative and think out of the box, and don't forget about bodies when we sing and make music together. And again, the most important goal is to be social. So why not? If you have like a group of, let's say, 20 choir singers who all know each other. Let's say, okay, I can see Chantal Cinema in my screen. So why not dance and then say, okay, Chantal, make up a move. All the others, copy. Yeah? Now, Sander, your turn. Something like that. You can do so many things. We get physical, we have a little bit of movement. We actually train our own rhythm when we dance, right? There's many upsides to this. But most importantly, we don't feel alone, we have fun, and we feel connected. Just a few ideas of what you can do. So when we work with repertoire, there's many things we can do. I can, of course, just use the piano with an acoustic sound if I want like to feel human and just make music. Let's imagine we have S-A-T or S-A baritone, whatever you want. And then sing this lineup that you, warm up that you probably know. Altos. Altos. Sopranos. Yeah.
Merel, can you please turn on your original sound?
Oh, thank you. Yes. You are so right. There's so many things in this session that sometimes I forget. So altos, did you get the na 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 na? Sopranos na 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 na. And then repeat. And move a little bit in your chair. And snap. Yeah, now sing it with a little groove. Etc. Something like that, of course, we can do. But if you want to study repertoire, you can also use all of the music notation programs that we all use nowadays. Then we can also share screen and, for example, go to Sibelius. Now you can see my arrangement for Imagine, right? Can you give me thumbs up if you can see it? Okay. And now you can hear this note, right? So let's just sing along. Sopranos, altos, tenors. Are you ready? Being the leader, you can of course also sing along. And if session where we have voice parts and I want to practice with the basses only, of course, then I can put up the volume of basses and put down the others so that we can hear mostly basses. So now we ask basses, okay basses, did you get that? You can communicate in the chat. If not, I want it to sound like this. Imagine there's no heaven, for example. Can you sing that, basses? Okay, there we go again. Etc, etc. Just some ideas. Pieter, it's your time to share some magic. Are you still in the house?
I'm totally in the house. In my house in Umeå, Sweden.
Can I please interrupt a little because I have some questions I really want to ask?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Marlou.
Thank you. Sorry, Peter. There's one question from Ida. She asks you if you hear the differences in sound settings with you that you have right now when you turn on original sound.
Yes, 100%.
So it's better. So I hope Ida is satisfied with that answer. Then Kim had a question about sharing screen. So Kim, could you please unmute and share your question?
Yes, I have a question because when you share your screen, you had the disco thing going on, which was really nice. You said copy the movement of one person. I can only see your screen, and then I saw like 4 people. And how do you do that? Because then you, for instance, now there are hundreds, but how can you do that?
Yeah, I think you can also share only sound. I don't know if Sander or Pieter wants to answer this.
Yeah, you can share only sound.
But I don't know how.
Shall I say hi?
Yeah,
okay, so
maybe, Kim, you did not use gallery view. You cannot see all 100, but at least you can see, well, about 20.
No,
25.
I do have gallery view, but when Merel shares her screen, I only can see what she has in the screen, and she has this small 4-line rijtje. So how I think for the person who shares the screen has to fix it. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. So gallery view is another good tip if you didn't find out about that yet, because in the right upper corner you can either click speaker view, where the person that speaks is a little bit more in the middle, in the center, or gallery view where we all have the same kind of window. Pieter, can you answer how you can only share sound?
Yeah, Marlou just said that in the chat. You click share screen, and then you click on advanced rather than basic, and then you click computer screen only. No, computer sound only, and then you click share, and then you won't share the screen. You will only share the sound, and then you can continue seeing everybody.
Awesome, thank you so much, Pieter. Can you continue with something you want to share?
Yeah, I'd like to share an exercise for rhythm that actually works better when you have an online session like this than if you try to do it in a rehearsal room. The context, I would like to say something first about the context. So this is about rhythm, which is I see it from the perspective of a singer. Everything that I do is from the perspective of a singer, so rhythm would be then one of the 5 areas of focus. I'm doing this pretty fast now, so on my map of factors within rhythm that singers need to have an idea of to get a physical experience of time would be pulse, gravity, upbeat as a preparation to downbeat, subdivisions and the relationship between subdivisions and pulse, and then you get into groove, and then you realize that there is variable tempo, and none of that will happen unless you also can synchronize different body parts. So this is an exercise for body synchronization. Let's, for example, you want to do a finger snap at the same time that you want to do a ba. Now, everyone please try that, like ba, For some people, this might be very easy, like piano players and drummers, for example. For others, it might be not so easy. You can also try your voice and your foot at the same time, like stamp with your foot and say pa. Thank you. I don't know how you're doing. I wish you the best. What I experienced for me is that when I try to control this process from my brain, then I cannot control both this and this pa at the same time. So if I try to control two actions at the same time, my brain will go crazy. So what I do is that I focus on being a little early with one of these two sounds, like this. Pa. Pa. Do this, please. Pa. Pa. So that your voice happens a little bit before the snap. And then do it the other way around, like pa. 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 I'm doing this really fast now. Maybe in real life this will take longer. But the magic happens when you alternate which of the two sounds that you do first. Like this. I'll show you first. Pa. 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 Try that. Alternate. And let the voice and the body, like the snap, do this without controlling from the brain, while also making the gap smaller. At some point, your body will understand what it is that you're trying to do. And if you look at me, what happens, what I recommend you to do is to do this exercise maybe 3 minutes, but not more, and then drop it, and in the warm-up or something. And then after a couple of warm-ups with your choir, they might actually synchronize better. But what happens is that ba, 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 ba. At some point, it's like the body understands what you're trying to do, and then synchronization will happen in an organic way. If you do this in a choir rehearsal room, it's going to be chaos. People will look at each other. But I figured that when you do it like this, you can see each other doing it. It's actually something you can do as part of a rehearsal, and it works better because we can see each other but not hear. I have spoken. The name of this exercise in the book that I'm writing is Chase the Beat.
Awesome. Thank you, Pieter. I also realized that we have one more vocal leadership teacher in the house. It's Rohan Poldervaart.
Hello, everybody.
Great to have you, Rohan. If you have any specific questions for one of the vocal leadership team members, you can write them in the chat. I will now ask Marlou to share some of her things about how to treat the voice when we are so much into screen mode. Pieter, can I ask you to moderate the chat a little bit in the meantime?
Sure.
Thank you.
Stefan just said super exercise. I'd love to moderate that particular thing.
Great. Marlou, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Answer with a little bit of love, Pieter. Maybe with a heart. So if we are behind the screens, it's a bit difficult to get moving, but still I want to ask you to do that. So if you can stand up, please do that. If you can sit up straight in your chair, also do that. I have the luxury, however, to be standing as I am speaking at this point because I have a sit-stand desk, which is great. I am still soft. I am trying to do it like this. I'm going to move my microphone a little bit and put up the gain. Is this better? So I hope that you can hear me loud and clear right now. Please stand up, hip to hip apart. You can do that by putting one foot on the side of the other, and where the nose or the head of your shoe is, put your foot there. Try to feel your feet at this point and try to bounce a little using your knees. Just bounce a little. Try to find a sweet spot for yourself, and now try to sink in with your body. You can do that by leaning a little bit forward Try to not lock the knees and go behind a little. And go forward again. And go back. Try to attach the breath to the movement to the breath. So maybe if you go forward, you inhale, and when you go backwards, you exhale. Try to close your eyes for a bit. Sink in with your body and come back to the middle when you are up for it. Then slowly we are going to start shaking. We start in the knees, we go up to our pelvis, go up to our chest, go up to our shoulders, and move it down again. Channel your inner Beyoncé and try to move your shake everywhere in the body. Shake it out, I would say. Shake it out, shake it out. And then slowly try to rotate the shoulders a little bit. Maybe also do it like that. Shake them a little bit. Inhale. Move the shoulders up. And exhale. Sigh a little bit. That must be beautiful in the microphone. I'm sorry for that. Let's do it one more time. And exhale, release. Good. So I hope you can hear my piano. Yes, is it too loud? Then I will put it down.
No, your voice is too soft.
My voice is
Piano's okay, voice too low.
Okay, I'm trying as I am speaking at this point, but is it better now because I put up the gain a little? So I hope it is better. Better. From here.
More voice, a little bit less piano, more voice.
Okay, I will try. Is it better like this? Can you hear me better like that?
Yay.
I see thumbs up. Yay, that's nice. Thank you. I'm not so technical. I'm trying. Fake it until you make it, I would say. So, the piano. Here, we are going to do your turn. Very good. Beautiful faces. Try to shake your body still. Two more. And the last one. Now try to do a glide. And maybe you can throw a little rope up there like... So let me see your cowboy. Good. Let's go down to ha. A little bit of vocal fry, a little bit of slack. There. Now this is a way of how you can do some vocal warm-ups, even though it is a bit challenging. And I have a Focusrite interface at this point. I have a piano down here. You can see it if I just do a little bit like this. You can see, I hopefully know that you see my piano right there. So, and I have a microphone that's now up and you can hear me, thank God. But what I also can do is share screen, advanced, computer sound only, share. And then I will do this. I pre-recorded a warm-up exercise. So I hope you can hear it. And you can sing along if you want to. With no hands. So I can just share this at this point. Maybe a pre-recorded warm-up exercise. To also have some physical things and to, move a little bit like that. I also did a share option with advanced and went to Spotify and put up Roof Garden by Eldril because what else? So it's nice to do such things. There are small and this is just some ideas to get the musical motor up and running. Other things that you can do is like very detailed vocal nerding work. So we could work with larynx position for a change. Let's just do that for a bit. So feel your throat here. If you swallow, the thing that moves up and down is your larynx. So if you did not know that, you have learned something today. What you can do at this point is yawn a little bit. And if you do that, I think you will feel that it goes down. And if you would talk like a puppet a little bit without doing the twang, so no twang, but just a little, like Calimero, like that a little bit, say your name like that, maybe a little bit Betty Boop, you can feel that the larynx goes up. Now we can sing with this structure, and we can move the larynx down while singing, and I can just enable that by trying to rehearse that with my group. I will stop it right here because we have a couple of minutes left, and I think Merel wants to add up some stuff. So thank you all.
Great, Marlou. Thank you so much for sharing. Of course, it's not possible to share everything that all of you are searching for in only a 1-hour session. But I hope that, you know, by initiating this, we kind of have the feeling that we are in this together. Because we are. We might all feel alone from time to time, but we are all trying to invent the wheel. And if we have questions, let's just share ideas. So I hope that all of you are okay with sharing this particular video of the last hour with the participants that could not join, so that we can also have them benefit from the stuff that we have shared here today. If not, please contact us as soon as possible about that before we do so. I would be happy to consider a second meeting if we want to share more stuff. I can imagine that some of you are experts in a certain field and feel like, okay, it would totally be worth something to share what I invented or what I created or what I experienced. And let's do that, because I think it will just help all of us. And the main goal is to just have everyone sing and have fun and stay connected. And let's just all together make that happen. It's very, very important to me, and I hope to you too.
There is a question here from the last couple of minutes. Can I share it, or is the time over?
No, we have 3 minutes, so go ahead.
Yeah, it's like, and I don't know the answer to it. It's a person who, if one of the participants here would want to share the screen from an iPad and she can't, is that because you cannot share a screen from an iPad, or is it because you have to allow her to share the screen?
It's because you cannot share from an iPad.
Okay, that's the yeah. So I hope that is a response then.
Yeah.
Can I also add something to the final? You can, I hope you can all do that. In the chat, if you want to keep the remarks and stuff like that, you have the 3 dots on the right side. And there, if you click it, it says Save Chat. So you can also see the answers and the questions, and you still have them from this session. Might be good before you leave the meeting to save the chat.
Or when Merel shares the video somewhere, she can share the chat below. If you do it on YouTube Unlisted, for example. Or how do you share the video?
I don't know yet, Peter. It will be the first time that I share a video, unless just copying a link and sending it to some students that I taught. You help me with that.
I would actually, but what I would do is that I would share it on YouTube as an unlisted video, so that you have to have the link to see it. Then take the URL and have a page on the Vocal Leadership website, so you can see the video with the whole. And you need to edit the chat a little bit, so you take away this from blah 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 to blah 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 blah, so you actually just get the content, and then put that below the video.
Cool. I will try to do that.
Yeah.
In the coming days. There's a group, a Dutch group on Facebook called Tips and Tricks Online Rehearsals. If you speak Dutch and you want to have more access to people who want to share things and thoughts, go there. There's our big inspirator Jim Dausianu, who has published 3 videos already on his personal YouTube account. Search for Jim Dausianu. Maybe someone can put that in the chat. And then you can find his instruction videos for how to use Zoom. If you have any topics that you feel are worth sharing with a group in a similar session like this, please contact Vocal Leadership in Messenger or email, so that when we initiate a next meeting, we might, if there's an interest for that, we can have new topics to share with all of you.
I think we should give a big hand to Meryl and Marlo and to Sander, who did a, I think, great technical presentation, all right? I paste Jim's channel here.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. I hope it made sense to you. And yeah, I guess stay strong, stay healthy. That's most important.
Yeah. And Meryl, one thing, when you record, it
Yeah.
should be that the chat is saved along with the recording on your hard disk.
Yes, but I realized when I was watching another recording that it was very small, so I hardly couldn't read it.
Okay,
Something to be fixed.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll copy the whole chat just as a backup.
So to end this session, I will play a little bit more of disco music so that we can go out dancing, and then you can get yourself out, or see yourself out, I guess what we should say, right? Thank you all for joining. So great to see so many familiar faces. And see you soon.